Hey guys, Merry Christmas. How are you?
Yeah, man. Pretty good, man. What's going on? You got everything all set up for the weekend, or you still got some last-minute stuff to get done?
Yeah, still got some shopping to do. You know me, still have to do some wrapping. Still trying to move the elf on the shelf all around the house. You forget that every night.
Right.
But, just your classic Frankel Christmas. That's all.
A good old-fashioned Frankel Christmas.
That's right. That's right.
Now, what's your expected time of waking up on Christmas morning? When you got two little ones, so I'm sure they're gonna be excited that morning.
Yeah, it's kind of like family roulette, Sully. To be honest with you, you never know what time you're gonna get. I mean, today was great. I think we all slept till about 7. But Christmas morning, you got to add in the excitement level and all that. I'm predicting between 5:30 and 6. They like to say wait till the sun comes up, but I think that goes out the window on Christmas morning.
Yep. You gotta factor in the 2 or 3 hour nap at around 11:30 in the morning.
Yeah, definitely factor that in. Although not for the parents, I usually don't get one, but the kids definitely. If we're going to survive the entire December 25th, we're going to need a nap in there somewhere.
Oh man! So give us some quick insight on tonight's game. I don't know if you've seen either one of those teams play yet this year. I've seen Atlantic City looking pretty good. I haven't seen St. Augustine yet. So what do you think about tonight's game?
Yeah, I've seen them both, actually. I've seen both of Atlantic City's games so far, and I got a chance to see St. Augustine in action against Millville early last week. And, I mean, look, this is the primetime matchup, not only in the Cape Atlantic League, but really in South Jersey. And, you think about it, if you don't really look at the numbers, you think, oh, man, these teams have been pretty close over the last couple of years. And while some of the games have been, St. Augustine has really, sort of had Atlantic City's number. I think the Prep has beaten the Vikings 6 times in a row. In fact, St. Augustine, I don't believe, has a loss within the Cape Atlantic League in the last 3 years. So, I mean, a lot of history on St. Augustine's side, recent history. But, before the season started, you almost got the sense that it might be a changing of the guard this year between these two teams. Atlantic City, very talented team back. Guys like Ray Bethia and Nazim Derry, Flash Morgan leading the way. I mean, these are guys that have played since their sophomore and freshman year. And, in talking to Paul Rodeo, he said we have a young team, not a bad team. So St. Augustine has been really right at the top for any team in the state the last couple of years. They graduated a lot of talent, but Marlon Hargis is back, Division I recruit, and Travis Stoll is back, and Charles Solomon is a big time junior on the inside. So, on paper, first glance, I think I'd give the edge to Atlantic City, but you certainly can't count out St. Augustine, especially based on what they've done against AC the last few years.
Yeah, I guess the biggest question, Mike, for St. Augustine is how do they match up defensively against Atlantic City's big 3 seniors there?
Yeah, it'll be tough. I mean, athleticism-wise, I think across the board, you certainly have to give the edge to Atlantic City, and that doesn't mean that St. Augustine doesn't have, very athletic kids. I mean, I'd put Marlon Hargis right up there with basically anyone in South Jersey. But, just the way that AC has sort of come out and played these first couple games, it's almost a different look. They do have a couple big guys, but really they move Ray Bethia down into the post, and he's been dominant down there against some pretty good competition. I mean, they handled Ewing at the Ocean City PBA tip-off weekend last weekend, and that's, the defending Central Jersey Group 3 champ, and that really wasn't a close game. But, Bethia's inside, very effective down there. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I mentioned Charles Solomon's name, and in the one game I've seen of St. Augustine's too, he's been very dominant on the inside, very active down there, and that certainly gives St. Augustine a nice post presence as well. So, I think the teams match up fairly well. That they usually always do, and I think everyone's in for a good one tonight.
And Mike, one of the best parts about when these teams get together is the 2 head coaches, Paul Rodeo and Gene Allen. Man, they are fun to watch, especially in this kind of matchup. Gene gets very, very excited on the sidelines there, and Coach Rodeo, he'll have the suit jacket off by end of the first quarter and loosening the tie by midway through the second.
Yeah, it's always the question is what bright color is Gene Allen going to wear for this one? Is he going to go with a nice pastel yellow or orange perhaps? He always gets dressed up for the big games. And, yeah, Coach Rodeo, it's always the tie watch, right? I mean, he starts with the tie on usually, but especially in a game of this magnitude, that thing's usually lost by the first time out or the end of the first quarter. So, we'll see, especially because the game's in Atlantic City. I think you got to give the edge to AC, but again, you based on what St. Augustine's done these last couple of years, and yes, they're a different team, but they have some of those kids back. I think the teams are very evenly matched, and again, just really looking forward to it.
Well, the interesting thing, Mike, about when they do play in Atlantic City is I think sometimes it works to a disadvantage of the Vikings because they get so hyped up about playing in front of that home crowd, and like you saw last year, they just really didn't have it in their first quarter. They got down by like 14 points, and I'm sure Coach Allen's hoping to avoid a repeat of that.
Yeah, you're right, Sully. You do see that sometimes in Atlantic City for those big games with the huge crowds over there. And, the Super Bowl Sunday game against Pleasantville always jumps out. Certainly in recent years, AC has, had the upper hand on Pleasantville, but they just tend to be sort of sloppy games, especially off the top. I don't know whether it's the atmosphere or the big crowd or what. And, Atlantic City has to avoid that tonight against St. Augustine because, no offense to Pleasantville, who's also a very talented team this year, but, St. Augustine is a team where if you're sloppy early on and you get behind, like you said, we saw it last year, AC was never able to recover. But, this is a veteran Atlantic City team. Ray Bethea, it's only been 2 games, but, through those 2 games, he's certainly the South Jersey Player of the Year right now. Howard recruit of Fortis, and just a nice, supporting cast around him as well. I mentioned guys like Flash Morgan and Nazim Derry and, a number of other kids as well. Just kids that have just sort of been on this stage for a while. And I think if you're Atlantic City and if you're some of these guys, quite frankly, they're tired of losing to St. Augustine. So I would expect a big effort from Atlantic City tonight.
Great stuff, Mike. We appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get your rest now. You're going to need it for Monday.
All right, guys. Got to go stuff some stockings. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, bud.
Take care.
That was Mike Frankel of SNJ today. Catch him